Man. Last night I went to bed like right before 10, and for the most part I was just out cold. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry. I probably just made everybody collectively yawn with that. So let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. Let's see. My low is the fact that it was really hot yesterday. Like really hot yesterday. Like at one point it reached 91. That's how hot it was. Which it's always sort of a pet peeve of mine where like we complain about how cold everything in the winter is and we wish it was warm. And then we get to the summertime and now we wish it, and actually no, I don't think we straight up wish it was winter again. But we definitely wish it was colder. So it's weird. The northern hemisphere is weird like that. I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I'm wrong. We're in the western hemisphere. I forgot we're in the western hemisphere. I completely forgot about that. I actually remember that from Futurama. Anyway, my high is I got to see someone really important yesterday, and I talked with them for a little while. For the most part, it was, an okay time. And I got to see my mom and my dad yesterday too. That was also really great. And my act of kindness was I emptied out my parents' dishwasher and put, obviously whatever dirty dishes were in the sink in there. So that's what I did. So, sorry if yesterday sounds like it really wasn't that big of a day, but normally after a show like America's Got Talent, there really isn't much to do until, for me at least, till today when Hot Ones arrives. So, good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. I have to say though, this week's gone by relatively quickly. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that, we're already here on Thursday. I mean, Hot Ones is going to be premiering with Khloe Kardashian as the guest in a couple of hours. That's going to be something pretty special. Today I'm going to be seeing my nephews again. Although, it's weird because yesterday we got because I mentioned how hot it was. It got so hot it eventually rained. Like thunderstorm rain. So, not entirely sure how much the weather's going to hold up today. I mean, it's really cloudy right now. I guarantee you it's still really warm. Probably, I didn't really check the temperature before this. I'd say maybe in the at least high 50s. And even that's going to feel warm because of, it's going to feel humid because of all the rain from evaporating last night. Because if you look outside right now, it's that thing where you see patches of dry area, but there was clearly big wet patches where the giant puddles were from rain, if that makes sense. Yeah, sorry if I'm feeling kind of slow and sluggish. I've just been I've been feeling that way every morning for a while now. Not entirely sure why that is, but maybe it's probably because I'm coming down with something. I've been fighting allergies since Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, I don't think I ever told you this story, but back on Memorial Day weekend, I mentioned how I played with my nephews with my dad that day, and while we're playing at the park, just this giant wave of pollen just blows by via the wind, and it like rushed into like my face, and I swear that's what like reignited my allergies for me. Because for the most part, allergies don't really bother me unless like it's really in your face. And this really got in my face. Sorry, I'm trying to think of what else I could like talk about or something. Well, there was one idea that considering I haven't really talked about any shows I grew up with in a good while, instead of just talking about one show, I think it'd be better that I bring up an entire universe. And by universe, I mean the DCAU, or the DC Animated Universe. DC as in DC Comics, which first began with Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited. This was an entire universe that spanned, actually, this might have been like an entire 15 years or something. Because I know Justice League Unlimited was like early mid-2000s when it ended. And Batman the Animated Series started in like 1992. So we're talking at least 10 years of like storytelling all throughout like this universe. Well, I should probably say, if you watch Batman the Animated Series, you never, by itself, you wouldn't necessarily know it was in the universe, but it did kick everything off. Because after Batman the Animated Series was done, they came out with Superman the Animated Series. And the plan for that show was to slowly but surely integrate members of the Justice League into it. There was like an episode with the Flash. Obviously, Batman made an appearance in The World's Finest, which is one of the greatest three-parters I think I've ever seen. Green Lantern showed up. Steel was in there, even though he isn't he didn't get to be a member until Justice League Unlimited, but the point is, Superman the Animated Series was a way to sort of world build this universe. Batman Beyond showed what happens after Bruce Wayne retires, and so Terry McGinnis takes up the mantle as Batman. And one of the greatest two-parters ever I've ever seen is The Call, when they integrated the Justice League into it. Then there was Static Shock, where that episode, I honestly had no idea that Static was a DC character, but when they started having crossovers with like the Justice League and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, like, he's a DC character. And it was sort of, Static Shock was also really instrumental in sort of like breaking down barriers in terms of dealing with stuff like violence and race. That was actually a really good show. Static Shock was a good show. And all those shows were great, but I don't think I can recall a more surprising moment for me when I was watching Cartoon Network one evening and they were just showing like the images and logos of, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I knew what these, symbols were, but I didn't think they were going to make a complete show out of it. And they did. And it was awesome. And I actually missed when it premiered because I believe I was at my cousin's baptism. Yeah, this would have been like 2001, I think is when. 2001? Yeah, it was 2001 when we had my little cousin's baptism. And so I never saw like the premiere of Justice League when it aired. Because I was up in Boston, and back then, being able to watch TV was kind of, a miracle in and of itself, My mom's side of it was my mom's side of the family, and they're not like the free spirits I am. Well, some of them are. Well, some of them are the free spirits I am, but a good chunk of them are not. And yeah, pretty obvious TV was not a thing back then. Anyway, so I'll never forget just like watching. I would watch Justice League for just like the intro alone, where it's like da 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 da, and like you see the superheroes like walking toward the screen like da 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 da, like Justice League, right? Oh man, that theme song got me hyped. It got me really hyped. In fact, actually, what I'm about to say is really an unpopular opinion, but I like that intro more than the intro for Justice League Unlimited, which basically Justice League Unlimited was like seasons 3, 4, and then 5 of Justice League, which I'll explain. They really wanted to end it in 4 seasons, but due to popular demand, they had a 5th season where they bring in the Legion of Doom, which is, it's the anti-Justice League. It's like all of the, DC supervillains getting together to form, their own league. Or which would, they didn't actually call it the Legion of Doom, but that's what it was supposed to be. And I say then, remember how I said seasons 3 and 4 and then 5? They actually had a legit ending for Justice League, which is an episode called Epilogue. That was supposed to be the final episode of the series. The great thing about this episode, and kudos to Bruce Timm, the creator of this series, and all the writers behind it, because even if you watch season 5 and then go back to watch Epilogue, it still fits. Epilogue was meant to be the final episode of not just Justice League Unlimited, but all of the entire DCAU put together. Really, it's true. And it takes place in the future where Terry McGinnis is much older than when he was when he started being Batman. And he comes to learn a very, very important secret that has to do with the legacy of Batman. I'm not going to give it away, although if you've seen Epilogue, then you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. And no kidding, one of the most beautiful callbacks I've ever seen is the very first episode of Batman the Animated Series. Starts with like these 2 guys riding in a blimp, and like something like flies by. I'm like, hey, what's that? Like, what that is? They recall that scene in Epilogue. Only this time it's Terry McGinnis as Batman flying in that shadow, and the blimp pilots don't know what's going on. It's really cool, and again, that's like the earliest possible callback I think I've ever seen. It gives like, in terms of callbacks from like the first episode to the finale, it gives the toad that was picked up, the frog that was picked up by mosquito in Amphibia, where like he's up there for like 1 day and then 3 months. We get to the finale and Amphibia's like, actually, I love this now. Like, did he stop by and eat anything? Actually, it wasn't a mosquito that picked him up, it was a dragonfly. I'm sorry. It was a dragonfly that picked him up. Don't worry, I corrected myself. It's cool. But yeah, the DCAU was here's the thing, I knew about Batman, Superman, and those guys before. They're iconic. In fact, my actual first instance of anything Justice League related was Sega Genesis had like a fighting game called Justice League. We'd play that a lot, actually, growing up. So that was like legit my first introduction to the Justice League in terms of learning who these characters are. But when it comes to seeing an entire universe built around several shows or series or anything, combined with good storytelling, memorable characters with really great, memorable lines. You know, the DCAU is what got a lot of people in my era to like, you know, DC Comics and the Justice League. I mean, so much so that even after Justice League ended, there was a demand for more. So that's why they came up with those direct-to-DVD animated movies, which I could talk about at some, which I had to mean to talk about at some point. The problem is, and I'll never forget when the Blockbuster Buster did his honest reviews of, because he did all the DC animated movies that were, you know, direct to video. The problem with those movies is they're short, like an hour, 15 minutes tops. You couldn't really do a review about it without giving too much away. So maybe at some point I'll probably do all the DC animated movies and tell you how I feel about them and get back to you on that. But that is something I could probably do. And again, you wouldn't have that without the DCAU. No Batman, no Superman, no Batman Beyond, no Static Shock. You need those shows, and then you got Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And it brought everything together in Epilogue, which, that's another thing. I should do like a top 10 series finales. Because Epilogue would probably be on there. I'll have to think about that. But for now, I think I should just get on with my day and get ready to watch Hot Ones. Like, favorite, share, subscribe button, follow me, so there's turn on those notifications on YouTube. I ring the little bell. I am very homely this video for all of you guys watching. Enjoy for today. It might be a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, because all talk shows will be here to win. I always every back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day.